This is huge news for Tesla, says I and Gary, as well as James. So what is this thing that everyone's so excited about? Well, in the US, all Model 3 and Model Y trims will qualify for the full $7,500 credit going forward. In the past, the Model 3 only got half of $7,500, except the performance Model 3. How is Tesla doing this is a bit of a head scratcher, but there are a few theories. For example, I made a video about this about 2 months ago now. The government at the time was working on this document, and there was a loophole for some companies to still qualify for these EV credits despite having the battery sourced from places that are foreign entities of concern. And that loophole could be in place until December 31st of not this year, but next year. Another possible way that Tesla may be getting around this is simply by meeting the requirements of the tax credits. So 40% of critical mineral value needs to be outside of, for example, China, and 50% of battery components of a value has to also be outside of China or other entities of concern. So in theory, it is still possible to receive batteries from China, but if a lot of a value is coming from outside of China at the same time, maybe Tesla could be getting these credits still. This, of course, is quite challenging to pull off, but if there was a company that would be able to pull it off, it would be a company that during the pandemic was able to rewrite the software for its chips and use different kind of chips that other automakers that are not able to use, and therefore I think Tesla could possibly pull this off, although we just don't know yet how Tesla is doing it. Regardless of that, I am very happy. It also, of course, helps a little bit that Tesla does not have to send vehicles from the US to Canada, and it now sends vehicles from China to Canada, which frees up more batteries that can qualify for these credits. Sawyer made a list of the US states where the Model 3, including all of state incentives as well, starts under $30,000, and now it's a pretty long list. If you don't qualify for any state incentives, then the cost of a Model 3, the rear-wheel drive one, is $32,740, and the cost of ownership of that Model 3 is now becoming less than a Honda Accord or a Toyota Corolla in most markets, says Electric. Tesla stock is up today 3.11%, but there is more good news, and it at least partially explains why BYD is up today, as well as XPeng, for example. China, it appears, will extend tax exemptions on cheaper new energy vehicles, which of course include EVs. It would seemingly include all vehicles that would be priced at about $42,500 USD or below. Earlier, this tax exemption was set to expire at the end of this year, so this of course is quite bullish, because if we get these tax breaks for another 4 years, you know, there will be more sales of EVs. And now let's go through the rest of Tesla stock news. There's a fight going on between Gary Black, a Tesla stock bull, and a Tesla stock bear. Tesla couldn't grow Model 3 sales since 2020 Q3, so almost 3 years now, despite the global market tripling for EVs, and is unlikely to be able to do so in the future. But the refresh Model 3, Project Highland, maybe it will prevent the sales from dropping for the Model 3. Tesla stock bears were wrong about the total demand for Tesla, not Model Y versus Model 3. Gary goes on the offensive here respectfully. That's one of the dumbest things you have ever said. I have 2020 tweets from Tesla stock bears arguing with me that Model Y was just a big Model 3 and net of Model 3 cannibalization would generate no incremental volume. That turned out to be so ridiculously silly. The Model Y is now the world's best-selling vehicle in the whole world. Model Y net of cannibalization drove huge Tesla volume. That will repeat in 2024 as Cybertruck rolls out and boosts volume for the entire Tesla franchise. Don't say I didn't warn you. Again, says Gary Black. I like this kind of Gary. I would love to see more of this. Yesterday, we also saw Tesla raise lease prices by about $30 per month on the base version of the Model 3. And the loan rates also went up a little bit, but now we know why that happened, and that's because of the new full EV tax credits being back. This will probably boost Tesla's volume as well as increase Tesla's margins, and when the margins increase, what else increases? Tesla stock. It goes up, and if we have just another day like this, we are likely to break the year-to-date high. Gary Black just posted a little bit of technical analysis here, as well as a prediction that is actually quite likely to come true, which states that a lot of Tesla stock analysts that have price targets of $185 to $210 will find justifications to raise Tesla stock price targets as they post quarter end previews, which should start in the next 2 to 3 weeks. And there's more good news. Troy just posted his latest public estimate for the number of deliveries that Tesla will achieve by the end of the quarter, in his opinion, and that estimate is now 439,000, up from 437,000. The analyst consensus is also up by a little bit, not by much, but by a little bit. It's up by 1,000. Gary also thinks that Twitter should already be cash flow positive, which is good for Tesla stock investors, as Elon is less likely to sell Tesla stock to fund Twitter. We also learned that Tesla is not only importing Model 3s from China to Canada, but also Tesla is importing Model Ys from China to Canada, which I think is great. That makes it easier for Tesla to meet these EV tax incentive battery requirements in the US. We have some more good news from Europe. These are sales from May, which is the second month of this quarter, and this was the second month of the last quarter, and I have a question for you. Can you see a difference? Similar with Spain too, the numbers that are coming out of Europe look pretty good. These are relatively small countries, but they do add up to significant numbers. Denmark looks good too. And you will love seeing this. Gary Black, I think, sort of just called Morgan Stanley, Deutsche Bank, and Goldman Sachs dumb. Why? Because Wall Street analysts with buy ratings and price targets below the current price look dumb to clients. And right now, Morgan Stanley has a price target of $200 for Tesla stock. Then there's $200 from Deutsche Bank, and then there's $185 from Goldman. I saw an estimate from one analyst that said if Tesla cleared out all of its Model 3 inventory, which is in red here, that would add over 7,000 deliveries to the quarter. And I think it's possible that it happens, although it's going to be maybe a bit difficult. But with this higher EV incentive, the price is just so good. If you see a big sharp drop the first day, and then if that continues the second day, yeah, it's probably going to go down to zero. And what you see here is exactly when the Tesla Model 3 lost half of its tax credit, and then the sales slowed down, it seemed. But it did help the Model Y sales. So we could see a bit of an uptick in the Model Y inventory and a downtrend for the Model 3 for now. Sam Kors pointed out something really important from this chart. Although it looks like global EV adoption is growing quickly and is accelerating, all of that came from just a few companies, Tesla, BYD, Volkswagen, and GAC, while 41% of OEMs actually had lower year-over-year sales in the same time period for battery electric vehicles. Why? Because they suck. Maybe they should start making vacuums, although they may make vacuums that don't suck enough. Elon Musk is going to speak at Edison Electric Institute in Austin on June 13th. Put that on your calendar if you want to be the first one to watch it. GM and Stellantis are not having a great day. They need to pay $363 million in civil penalties for failing to meet US fuel economy requirements for prior model years. They should just maybe, I don't know, make EVs. Jaguar is not having a great day today. Jaguar recalled all I-PACE EVs over battery fire risk, and a year ago Electric actually warned them about it. Elon Musk rarely recommends any movies, but he recommended this one to every single parent about what is a woman. But there's a rumor going around that the man behind this movie knew what a woman was this whole time. And in this video, I talk about Tesla starting to advertise. My name is Matt Post. Just like and subscribe if you haven't yet, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.